Welcome to the Obstacle Race Magazine podcast, and thank you for tuning in once again. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We're now up to episode 5, and we've had a cracking start, so everyone who's listened to each episode so far, thank you very much. We've got quite a long show for you this week, so I won't spend too long on this intro. There's actually a little bit of extra news that I've recorded and added onto the end, so hang around for that one. And also, Karina Prince is the winner of the competition from last week, for those of you who hung around right till the bitter end and caught the extra little competition. Thank you very much for everyone who entered. And Karina, get in touch with the ORM Facebook page and PM us your address, and we'll get that special prize sent over to you. And I'm joined again by Mr. Newey. Hello, Mr. Newey.
Hello, Mr. Wibberley. It's been a long time. Not seen you for a few hours today.
At least a few. So I don't really need to ask you what you've been up to over the weekend, because I've been with you. We've been to the running show.
Romantic weekend.
That's it. A bit of a Nando's and a running show. So apart from going out for the Nando's, which is obviously quite an exciting part for old men like us, was there anything that actually stood out about the show for you?
It's just good to catch up with a lot of people that we know. We spoke to lots of people who are really interested in coming on the podcast as guests. Having a good chat with the Spartan guys. There's a bigger OCR presence at the running show over the last few years, and Spartan had a huge stand with some monkey bars and a bit of a rig for the kids to play on. It's just good to see the team, and apart from that, see loads of OCR sort of shirts walking around the exhibition. They had loads of good speakers this year. Steve Cram was there, Chris Akabusi, and of course David Hellard and Bad Boy Running. So yeah, there's loads to see, loads of good stands, and recommend anybody go next year.
Yeah, Hellard and the team definitely had a massive crowd around their stand all this weekend. If they don't get 1,000,001 requests to be for sponsors for their podcast now, I'll be hugely surprised. But yeah, really good. It's good to see what was a general running show now starting to adapt a little bit and take in other adventures of like other areas of the adventure racing circuit, in terms of like there was a few triathlon stands there. Obviously ultra running stands, but then also from now to taking OCR, have a little OCR area as well. It's really good. It just shows that OCR really is and can be truly mainstream and fit into a nice little slot within the running industry. It doesn't have to be just seen as a little bit of fun or whatever. And yeah, hopefully it'll help us, because there's always been this little bit of prodding from the people who take running a little bit more seriously that OCR's not something to be taken seriously just because it involves obstacles, whereas the people who are actually involved in OCR obviously absolutely hate that or take it on chin quite nicely. But either way, it depends how passionate you are about it. So yeah, but no, we're good. Good weekend. Definitely good to get out. Good to see a hell of a lot of people from round about the OCR community that we hadn't seen for quite a while.
Also saw the best two male and female OCR runners. Jonathan Alban, multiple world champion. We had a brief chat with him, and also, you don't see her on the course anymore, but Freya Martin, who I think is undoubtedly the best female OCR athlete that we've had. I remember when she first came about, and I think she finished 4th or 5th in a Spartan Super, and we said, who's that? Is that actually a woman come 4th or 5th in the elite? And it was. She was an absolute beast, and nobody's ever come close to her. So I had a good chat with Freya. Fingers crossed she could be making a return this year to some of the Spartans, so watch this space.
Yeah, I think there's only Claire Miller who's ever really come close. Obviously, she's stepped away from OCR as well, but especially compared to the sort of ladies that we've got at the moment, they were head and shoulders above what we've got right now, unfortunately. Not to put anyone down or anything, it is just the way it is. They were both I don't know. Probably the best way to describe them as freaks, but it's probably the least flattering way to describe them because they really were.
Freya was competing with the men, and the
Yeah.
women that are out there now, they're competing with each other, which is great. But they don't compete on the same sort of scale. I mean, she come from a running background, so the Spartan race has always sort of helped her because you've got good long sections of running. She's just a bit concerned maybe about the obstacles have changed a bit since she was last on the scene. So her grip strength was probably her weakness, so she needs to work on a few bits before she makes a comeback. But it'd be great to see her out there again anyway.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be good to see her make a comeback. And even better if we could get Claire Millard back out there to be racing against her. That'd be a nice face-off between the two of them. We also got a chance to have a look around the rat race stand, which was actually pretty cool. They had a really good-looking stand, didn't they, Kev? It was nice stuff on there.
Yeah, a lot of people in OCR will see rat race as sort of dirty weekend, but they do so much more. And they was really pushing their adventure races, which are real bucket list events. They don't come cheap at sort of $3,500 a pop, but it's maximum 40 people. And really, this is your summer holiday. And when you see the things that they're doing, it's well worth it. And so hopefully we'll get Jim onto one of the podcasts to let everyone know about the events and how they can get signed up.
Yeah, because they are once in a lifetime experiences that they're putting together and catering for you. So it's just amazing. But yeah, that were good. So running show, we really enjoyed that. We enjoyed the Nando's probably just as much. Apart from that, I've not really been up to too much this week. I've just got James Smith's new book, Not a Diet Book. That's really good. Just started working my way through that. Only thing I struggle to read at night time. The idea was that I was going to read it before bed. If you keep the lights on, you'd be
able to see the pages a bit better. It gets dark at night. And
I just tend to be able to do 2 pages and then I'm ready to fall asleep. So I don't know. But yeah, at least it does the trick and I go off to sleep. How about you, Kevin? I think you've got some news for us this week, haven't you?
Yeah, a few bits this week. Juventus have announced that it looks unlikely they're going to have any events this year due to some land issues. And hopefully we'll know by the end of the year if they can put something on in 2021. So we'll have a chat with the guys and see if we can get an update on that. Also, MacTuff have announced that their 2021 event on the 3rd of Jan is going to be their last winter event. So I don't know if they've worded it as last winter event to say they are going to do an event, but it's not only the winter, or if it's going to be the last MacTuff event. It's always been really popular. Alex, who runs the event, is a really top guy, and he gets big teams coming up from England up to Scotland to do that event because it's a freezing weekend usually. I think it was a little bit warmer this week, but with all the bagpipes and everything setting everybody off, it's quite a sight to be seen. And of course, we've got the big Spartan announcement coming on the 29th. So only a couple of days left to hear what that's all about. Is it going to be new venues or is it going to be something to do with Tough Mudder? We'll find out very soon.
I think my money would be on that it is going to be good news and they're going to be the ones taking over Tough Mudder. But it really could be anything because they threw the cat amongst the pigeons the other day by announcing that the Spartan World Championship's going to be in Dubai. It's a bit of a trek, especially for the UK racers to go away over there. They'd really want to be competing at a decent level to make that trip.
Yeah, but it's a World Championships, isn't it? I see it with like football where everyone complains it's not in England, but it's the World Championships. If you look at all the OCR championships, they've always been held in America or the UK, Europe. So it's about time it went somewhere else and try and spread the word.
Yeah, it'll definitely mix it up though, because if they did it in Dubai, it'll obviously have, I'm assuming, some big old sand sections and what have you. So it'll be a bit of a difference from the usual mud and hills that people are used to running within the World Championships.
Yeah, we'll have to try and get out to it.
I think we'll send you, Kev.
Oh,
You're
cheers.
perfectly suited for that weather. Is that it for news this week?
I'll say I've got no other news.
Yeah. So I think now is the perfect time then to go into our brand new section within the podcast, Listener Mail.
You've got mail.
And so we actually got a really good response, and I didn't expect as good a response as what we got. We ended up with 10 or so emails coming in. Some of them stupid, some of them not so. So basically I just had to put them all in a hat and just choose out two, and then I've written them out. So right, here we have it. The first one. Hi, Obstacle Race Magazine. I really hope you are well. I thought I'd take a minute to send in a bit of mail to you all. I have a suggestion. Seeing as Kevin is struggling in the hair department, why not get him signed up for Tough Guy? Because that'll surely put hairs on his chest. And then that's signed B. Wilson. So I don't know what to think about that. It didn't come from Billy's email address.
Didn't it? But I've got no hair on my head, but the chest is fully haired.
Is it?
Yeah.
So, but if you had some more,
I'm not looking at the transplant.
You could shave it into a nice heart shape, though, if you got a little bit more.
Yeah, but you know, with the amount of Spartan races that have led in the past, it's all down having the lack of hair. It helps the speed and the aerodynamics, so you can keep your hair.
But yeah, I liked that one, so I thought I'd stick that one in there. Not very serious, but we do need to get you back to a Tough Guy at some point, Kevin. Because even if just so I can see you suffering from hypothermia more than anything else, it would absolutely make my year. And then, so we've got one here that's actually a little bit more serious. So, dear Carl and the team, loving the podcast so far. Keep up the great work. So he's sucking up straight away. So the question is, what's the crack with there being 2 World Championships and no UK Championships? And that's it. And then that's signed off James Rosell. So I thought I'd better have a look, do a little research to actually put a bit more, because this isn't my forte. I'm not really into the elite side of OCR. It's never been something that's ignited a huge flame inside me. So I've had a quick look. So we have got 2 World Championships, that's right. There's been other bits and pieces. There's European Championships, there's Endurance Championships and all that sort of stuff. But the OCR World Championships, as the one that was founded first, was set up founded in 2013, and their first event was 2014. So they've obviously been going for quite a while now. Although it was sort of like self-appointed, they could see there was a need for it. We've been before, Kev. It's a good weekend to go, and especially now since it's been in Essex twice down at Nuclear Races. It were actually a good weekend, weren't it?
Yeah. Again, a good event for the whole community to come together. People who haven't qualified for it, they're helping, volunteering, marshalling, coming over to the stand, saying hello. So again, I think it's back over in America this year.
Yeah. So they're back over there now. But no, it is good, and it's even from someone who doesn't take a massively keen interest in the competitive side of OCR. It's still really good to see the level that people are at, the field, such a thick field of competitive racers.
Yeah, it is a commercial entity. They've spotted a gap in the market. They've pulled it together, got all the races on board for qualifying. Obviously, we struggle a bit more now in the UK because there's fewer events to actually go and qualify at. So, sort of lots of jibes from people saying, like, if there's any way you can qualify, you just have to turn up to an event and you've qualified for the World Championships.
But at the end of the day,
the athletes who are actually racing there's a good quality level of athletes there that are racing against each other, just not in the elite, but in the age groups and things as well. We've seen a lot of people from the UK taking home some titles. So, while that was the only one, fantastic. Now there's a second one come along, which is with the new
with associations. The new federations. Yeah. So the FISO OCR World Championships, so their inaugural event is set for for September the 17th, and that's hosted by the World OCR Federation, which is the top of the tree in terms of the new federations that have set up, like the UK one that's recently set up, and all the ones throughout Europe and throughout the world. So they're still, in a way, I suppose they're all self-appointed. It's just that these come under the header of being beneath a federation and put together by a federation. So it will be interesting to see, but I think the main bugbear that people have got at the moment that they've been looking at is obviously it's due to take place in Russia, which obviously with their Olympic teams and what have you being banned from competition.
Well, yeah, so all Russians are banned from all sort of global events. So when they're trying to make OCR a sport, obviously the announcements for where it's being held was made before the sort of world sport announcements about the bans. So while it's not still an official sport, I suppose it's going to go ahead. But we need to make these baby steps. So the Spartan team, Joe was saying, there's a lot of other people in the background who are trying to push it forward, and we want to make OCR an Olympic sport. When you see some of the other things that make it into it, there's no reason why we shouldn't be there. But it's baby steps, and this is the first official World Championships. So it'll just be interesting to see how it all
just see how it all pans out and things. It'll be interesting to see who turns up for it more than anything, because obviously there's going to be loyalties that may get in the way of certain things.
Down to prize money. And obviously there's a proper selection process for this, so it's a bit like the Olympics. So there'll be a selectors team picking maybe 3 elite men, 3 elite women. It won't be that you've got to qualify for certain ways. That they will actually pick the best 3 that apply to be in sort of Team GB. So you will get the best from each country racing against each other. Lots of different formats, some short distances, long ones, some like sprint events, a bit more like Ninja Warrior, which have proved popular over in Poland and some other European countries because they're really easy to film. So it's great watching for TV. Yeah,
definitely. And it's...
Like I say, it's a different market. We look at the fun side of OCR. Mud 7's all about the fun, getting people off the couch, trying to get them fit. This is sort of the next stage up, isn't it? It's a bit like Sunday League football. People getting out there on a Sunday morning because they like playing football. They're never going to make it to Wembley. They're never going to become professional football players, but they want to get out there. They want to play football and still get that buzz of scoring a goal. And that's what people get when they cross the finish line from any sort of OCR. And that's the bit where we come in with the podcast, the magazine, to feed those sort of OCR runners.
Yeah, definitely. So it will be interesting to see what happens to a World Championships where it's not actually connected to a commercial entity. So, for example, like the OCR World Championships is a commercial entity, and then also Spartan World Championships, which is still a World Championships. You're just qualifying through Spartan races, so there's still quite a stacked field turns up for that one as well. So there's 3 really, and there's
if they're all offering prize money.
Yeah.
The big runners want to be there to try and get a piece of the action. So you're going to get Ryan Atkins and you're going to get John Albon going to those events if there's decent prize money on offer.
Yeah,
I think they said with the World Championships, the official one, said it's like the Olympics. There's no prize money to win a gold medal at the Olympics. It's all about getting that gold medal. So with the new one, I'm not sure whether there is going to be prize money or the medal and being the world champion should be the qualification enough to sort of put out there.
Yeah, the kudos for the pat on the back. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that pans out. Obviously, he also mentions no UK Championships. So, as some of you may be aware, there was a UK Championships event planned for this year, and then it got put on the back burner and eventually canned altogether. And that was going to be put together by 3 race directors within the UK who were really keen to bring this competitive format to the UK, but unfortunately I think it just made it difficult because it was around the same sort of time that the Federation had set up, and really the UK Federation wanted more of a handle on it than possibly the 3 who wanted to set it up were comfortable with. So basically that's just been laid to rest for now. And it's always been, the UK Championships for some reason has always been a bit of a poison chalice, and there's always some. It seems to really attract bad news, like brown paper envelopes getting handed over, and people's images of people standing freezing stood like penguins next to obstacles because this massive
trying again not to lose their band. I think the best one we've had is Nuclear.
Yeah.
So they held one of the UK Championships probably about 3 or 4 years ago now. But I think that was the most successful. That one was a success, where the other ones have been a bit of failures, really.
Yeah. So Nuclear do their own. They do the Challenge Cup as well, but because they don't advertise it as the UK Championships, probably because they realise that by attaching that name to it straight away, you're asking for trouble. But that's their competitive one, and it's ran just like a UK Championships was run when they got sort of put in charge of it back then anyway. So that's on the 31st of October this year. So for anyone who is looking for a race within the UK to be competitive against probably most of the competitive races within the UK, that's a good one to turn up to, the Challenge Cup, and you can kind of see where your rankings are. Similar with Spartan as well. It's just the fields aren't very thick at the moment. We need a lot more of the good runners to come out of the woodwork for it to be a much more competitive field than it's been over the last few years. If you're a good runner at the moment, you're kind of just running away with every bit of prize money that's there, because the field's just not very competitive at all, really.
And being completely honest, anybody could set up a race and call it the UK Championships. There's nobody stopping it. Anyone can sort of jump in and do that. I think it was a few years ago where a couple of guys set up the World Team Championships. I don't think it's around anymore, but I think they had about 10 teams from around Europe came across, and again it was a bit of a car crash and isn't around anymore, so anybody can put it on, but hopefully now the associations are going to make it more official, and sadly there's no event in 2020, but I'm sure they're working on it for 2021.
Yeah, it would be good to see. But yeah, so they were the main two bits of listener mail that we had this week. I just thought they were quite interesting, opened it up a topic.
Keep them coming in.
Yeah, definitely. We did have some other good ones, to be fair, but I thought those two, one was funny and one actually opened up quite a decent length of topic for us to discuss.
So how do people send in their electronic mail to you?
So if they could send them by email to call@obstacleracemagazine.com, that would be absolutely fantastic. Obstacle Race Magazine subscriptions are still live. We've still got ticket subscriptions, a few ticket subscriptions, should I say, left, so they're going quite quickly now, so you do need to grab them if you want to. I know a lot were holding off for paydays in January, so if you are, try and get them as quick as you can, because we obviously don't want to disappoint anybody, because there are a few, like Nuclear Race and things like that, they are starting to come down to the last few now, so if you do want to grab those, they will save you quite a considerable amount of money. But yeah, that's it from me. What, you got anything else, Kevin?
Nothing else from me. I think that's a wrap.
Lovely stuff. So yeah, in the meantime, don't forget, we want to see you in August. So get yourself signed up for Mud7 at mud7.com. And until next week, that's me signing off then, Kev. Good night.
It's been emotional again.
It has. It's been definitely
10-minute Tuesday.
We're
nearly there.
Cheers, Kev.
See you later.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
The news intro sounding again can mean only one thing, and that's that we've got a little bit of extra news for you. So me and Kevin record the 10-minute Tuesdays usually on a Sunday evening, and we do a roundup of the week as it's played out from the week before it, obviously. And we recorded it what would have been last night after getting back from the running show. And since then, so Monday, the 27th of January, we've actually got some more news for you. And it's good news, actually. It seems that the UK's Tough Mudder staff have all been allowed back into the offices, or been welcomed back into the offices, shall we say. So that means it's full steam ahead in terms of the UK operation now. I know Giles and Kyle have been working hard on it with Jodie Senna. So it's great news. It means that, looking at the way things are at the moment, all the UK dates are all going to be back online very soon. All the ones that were planned. The German dates are also expected to go back up really soon. All the new 10K city events, they'll also be going ahead. Which is fantastic, because there's 7 events planned within the UK, 5 in Germany, and then I think there's an extra 3 of the new 10K, which are basically the evolution of what was the 5K urban events. But yeah, so the courts are looking at appointing a trustee at the moment, so they just need to decide who the trustee is going to be, because it needs to, obviously, but now it's gone into administration, it needs to be put into someone's hands. It also means that there is now no more Will Dean. Will Dean has had to sort of give up any sort of control over the company. Now it's been handed over to administrators, so he's been removed as a director. Kyle and Giles have both been put into a position of being advisors for the administrators, which is great news because obviously both of them have driven the company forward in a positive direction, and they're both well thought of. So yeah, it should keep things going. Hopefully, so now they'll be looking for a buyer for the actual companies. That means hopefully the US will follow suit as well. Their tickets will go back online. There were other countries that were licensees that weren't actually affected anyway, such as Ireland and places like that who were sort of licensees. So their tickets have been online all the time. So hopefully this won't have affected their sales too much. Kyle and Giles have also fed back that all sponsorships and partnerships have all actually decided to stay on board with them as well, and they're supporting them, which is amazing news as well, because obviously the rocky seas could have scared a few of them away, but they've decided to stay on and support them, which is great news. So yeah, I just hope to see that tickets. So we need to basically get behind them and support them, and ticket sales need to be pretty decent to ensure that everything goes ahead as planned. So if you're sort of on the fence at the moment, I think it's now in a situation where you are pretty safe again to be purchasing tickets because things are going to go ahead. I think Giles and Kyle would pretty much do anything. And obviously there's one person who we can't go without thanking as well, and that's Joe DeSena of Spartan Race, because him and the team have sort of financed everything they've needed to ensure that everything's gone ahead as it needed to be able to even bring in the administrators and what have you, to be able to put them into the position that they're in now. So if it weren't for Joe, that probably wouldn't have happened. So that's amazing. That's really good for him, because at the end of the day, although I know it's good for the industry, it could have gone either way. It could have just let them die, basically, if it had been that sort of person. But I think having the two different formats, so Tough Mudders, the camaraderie and the working together, team building sort of event, and then this Spartan Race, which is more the competitive side of things, it works well together. They both got their own little niche, so for them both to be in the marketplace, it actually works quite well. So yeah, I just wanted to add that news on there. I didn't want to miss it off. We want to be as sort of up to date as possible. That's the whole idea behind the podcast. So yeah, so now I'll actually finally play the outro music, and hopefully you don't mind me adding this onto the end, because it has pushed us way over 10-minute Tuesday, aka 20-minute Tuesday, which will probably actually be 30-minute Tuesday now. So yeah, hopefully you don't mind that. But anyway, thank you very much for sticking on right to the very end. Don't forget, if it's the first time listening, click the subscribe button so you get notified as soon as we release any further podcasts. But yeah, so that's all I've got for now, and hopefully you'll be listening in next episode. Thank you very much. See you soon.